Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Relationship Flow Sip and Chat. Your crew is in the house tonight. We got Doc, Daryl, and we got Ruth in the house tonight, and we are going to have a spirited discussion. I'm sure.
I'm sure we got a minute to start time.
Yes,
About 30 seconds.
yes. Daryl, how was your week?
Toxic feminine traits.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Look,
go,
we didn't
Doc.
even
Starting already with these toxic feminine traits.
we didn't get introductions in before he started talking.
Listen, I don't know how I can't, fellas. I can't work this way. Okay, a lot of
We're
toxic
going to
feminine
try our
energy on
best,
this
Daryl.
show.
We're going to try tonight. Try.
Goodness gracious, I'm gonna need you to try harder.
But we're trying our best.
Look.
Hey, so I'm good. I'm good. Again, quick week. We're here already. The weather's getting better, so that's great. Things are looking good. Spring is around the way.
Yay, I love spring.
Yeah.
How was your week? You can't hear?
Oh, you just came back.
For a minute, you went out. You were like,
Oh. I don't know what that was about.
And I was trying to read her lips. I'm like,
Ruth, how was your week?
my week now while I'm in here was great. Thanks for asking. Again, balance, like Daryl said, they are coming at us quicker and quicker. Yeah, but good week. Little for me, little for grandmom, little for hubby, little for work. I divvied it out, and we're back. Good week though. How about you, Doc?
It was a pretty good week. I mean, ups and downs here and there. You know, the week before, I wasn't feeling so great. Then last week, the baby wasn't feeling so
Right.
great, and then now I had another sick family member.
Oh,
so
come
the
on.
beginning of the week, I was at the hospital. So it's just been up and down. I do think though that a lot of it has to do with the weather changing.
I
Because
think
we
so.
all have really bad allergies. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. Hopefully,
Mhm.
you know, for the
I
most
think
part,
you're right.
yes. And it starts
Mhm.
aggravating other stuff that you have going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think
And
a lot of it is that.
oh, I hope you
But
get a break with that.
I know.
Hmm.
But other than that, the week it's been okay.
Okay,
It's
good.
been okay. So what are you guys sipping on tonight? I'm sipping on just some regular old bottled H2O.
And I'm with you with my.
well,
Go ahead, Daryl.
you guys have to drink bottled water over there, from my understanding.
Oh,
Well,
here
no,
we go.
they told us that we can drink from
Mhm.
taps
Right.
again.
It was just
We're
messed
good.
up, and all of a sudden it's good again.
That's what I said.
Okay. Go ahead. Have at it. Have at it with your tap
I don't
water.
think
Yeah, I'm gonna
so.
stick with my bottled water. So same thing,
Yeah.
Doc, and my, you know the drink, the one
I
that
know when they
they
insure.
got to get my insure in.
That's true. You gotta get your protein in.
Yes.
But yeah, when they said that we could start, using drinking the water again, it
Mhm.
just made me think about like the orange juice industry. Just how people decide what's safe and healthy for you.
Mm.
Because I'd read, I don't know if this is still true, but I read a long time ago that they say that in the orange juice industry that it's okay for a certain amount of bugs to be in the juice.
Well, that's all foods. Remember,
Well,
all
yeah,
foods.
but
There's not.
but I'm saying that they decide whether or not they decide how much is
Right.
safe for them. So
Absolutely.
yeah. I'll stick to the bottle.
Yeah, because what if we don't agree with that amount that they decide?
Exactly.
You
Maybe
agree when you buy their product. Okay, you agree.
But
you
you know
like,
what?
I like
They
this amount of bugs.
You don't know that until something happens,
Exactly.
and then it comes out that that's what's going on.
Then
It's
we
not
do
like they freely
Mhm.
advertise that in this type of orange juice we have 50% bugs.
It's very
In this type, we
deceitful.
have
Yep.
10%.
Yep. And then we have a big recall, and it's too late. We've already eaten so much of it or drank so much of it.
You've been eating bugs all your life. What are you tripping for now? I know what you're talking about.
You're right, but Daryl, I don't want to know that I'm eating them. How about that?
Well, now you know what you're gonna do. Stop eating. You grow your own food. Guess what? You grow your
I
own
would
food.
like
Guess what?
to. I would like
Bugs
to.
on there. Buzz on that too.
Whatever. Whatever.
So yes. So people who are joining us tonight, tell us where you're checking in from. Let Grant StreamYard the ability to see your name, the Facebook group to see your name, so we know who we're talking to. Good evening, Facebook user.
Good evening.
Let us know where you're checking in from and what you are sipping on tonight. So tonight's topic is why I said we're going to have a spirited discussion.
Ooh, child.
We are talking. We are talking
Let me sit up in my chair.
We are talking about masculine energy.
Check. Is this on? Okay.
Look at.
Who's laughing at Philly?
LOL, Philly. Mm-mm-mm.
We're talking about masculine energy, and you know, this has been coming up, and I have to admit I had not even heard that phrase until I was talking to a young woman who's a person that she was seeing said this about her, and she was telling me, and I was like, what the heck does he mean by that? And she explained, you know, how it was explained to her. And so I started, you know, doing my own little deep dive into what this is and why is it such a thing now? I think that's more of the question. Like, why is it even brought up now? You know, is it because people or because men are looking for more? Here we go back to the traditional kind of women from.
Or could it be men are just looking for, or men are just looking for women?
Seriously?
Could it be that?
It could be, I guess.
Could it just be that we want to have a woman that's not like presenting, you know, other than? Could that be it? I'm just posing the question. See how quiet I got, fellas?
I don't know about all of that, but let's see. Oh, the water.
Okay, yeah, she's drinking the Facebook users drinking bottled water.
Good. Unless
you
you want to turn into a superhero, you don't drink that water. That's how most superheroes start. If something happens, and you turn into a superhero.
So let's define. I had looked it up and looked for a definition, and this is what I found. So the woman shows excessive masculine energy traits such as competitiveness, aggressiveness, and dominance.
I saw that too.
She is often very independent, goal-oriented, and directive. She is usually not very emotional or expressive and can be quite harsh and unyielding.
Oh my.
I know, right?
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
So, Doc, did it also, and some of the things I've been reading along with what you just read to us, isn't it something that women possess innately? It's there. I could be misunderstanding it, but it's there. It's just when it takes over the feminine energy and it's imbalanced with that it becomes possibly a problem.
That's what I got as well.
Okay.
Because I think that men and women both we all have feminine and masculine traits. But I think that shut up, Daryl.
Daryl, that's fact.
Yes.
Fix your eyes. Fix your eyes.
Yes. But I think the key word in this definition is excessive. And I think the other word in the definition is unyielding. Yes, and I think that should be talked about. Like, is there a standard, or can that be left up to interpretation? Like, would one person see you as having masculine energy and someone else see you as you're just a strong woman? Right.
So that's what I got from it. It's very, and that's what I kind of got from it. It's very situational. It's really contingent upon whom's dealing with who. right? Because some people may not feel it to be that way, or may be able to accept it, or some people may not. So it's very, and even when you talk to different people, what that looks like is very different. What they may feel is masculine or feminine may look very different from person to person. That's why it's kind of tough to say something like toxic masculinity or toxic femininity, because it's very different. It's something that everything I looked at was a little different. There was not many things that were like, this is the kind of the norm for it. Like, this is the barometer for it. Everything I looked at, every program I looked at, it kind of went all over the place, and contingent upon who you're talking to, it may look very different.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yes, I agree. You know, because I think some of these traits have, you know, for women, I guess we've exhibited them more over, I don't know how many years, but over more recently.
Yes.
Because of you know, women going into the workforce, and women being the breadwinners, and women, you know, having to kind of do the things that would have been considered the man's job. You know, like paying all the bills, and, you know, maybe leaving childcare stuff to somebody else. You know, like putting the kids in daycare, or you know, sending them off to boarding school.
And I think the reasons matter, Doc. It really matters why the masculine energy is surpassing the feminine. It matters why.
It doesn't.
It does. Oh, it does, Darryl.
It doesn't. It absolutely
You're
doesn't.
saying, Doc, to protect your family.
No. So, well, see, that's the problem. So, like, some of these things, like you said, we all possess a little bit of everything. Okay, I believe we all possess it. And like I said, we talk about it being excessive, but I think that, you know, this thing, like they say, a mama bear, when she's protecting her cubs, she's probably going to be the most masculine what we'll consider masculine she's going to be in protecting her family, right? That's very situational.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's not on your day-to-day. You shouldn't be dealing with that day-to-day, right? Because I think that I do believe in yin and yang, and I'm using it as, you know, so there has to be like masculine and feminine energy in your relationship. Right.
So pass over, because some of these men is a way like it.
There's a way like
or just want
to. Well, no, and just want to be a bum. So again, see, that could be perceived as toxic masculinity when you call in the guy a bum for acting the way he may act, right? And I'm not saying he is. I'm saying I was listening to something today where they're like, well, you're calling us this and that, and you're being toxic. No, I think sometimes the truth is kind of the truth, right? So, but again, if that's the way the guy wants it, then there's not a problem there. The problem only lies when you have a problem with how the other person is acting. So with the toxic femininity, if she's doing everything that you're supposed to be doing and there's no space for you, and you have a problem with it, that's when it becomes the problem. If you like it, then it's cool. If you don't have a problem, but the problem usually is when now you guys are butting heads because, hey, I'm supposed to change the tire on the car. Why are you doing it? I told you not to do it anymore. Well, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and I'm going to change the tire. Now you could have issues.
Wow. Okay.
So, is it subjective? Like, does it like Darryl said, it depends on who's defining it, right?
I think so. I think so.
We are live. Welcome to the whatever.
So you could be seen as having too much masculine energy in one relationship,
right?
And you know, being a helpful partner in another one.
Well, it's kind of like we talked about last show, where you could go into a relationship one way, but say she's asking you to take the trash out. Say we have a gender role and the man is supposed to take these trash out, right? But she continues to do it. So then you stop doing it, right? So you allow her to do it. So she claimed what you felt to be a masculine attribute or thing to do, right? So in that case, the things start to shift because you allow it to shift, right? You allow her to take the lead. You allow her to do things, and that's like it is situational. In that situation, if you allow her to do it, it's okay. But I think what happens usually, the woman will eventually be like, "Yo, I'm tired of taking the trash. That's what you should be doing." But he's like, "Well, you've been doing it. Keep doing what you think, bro. Keep it up, bro."
Yeah, and some men even give up their masculinity, I believe, in order to please their woman. And again, that's situational.
No man gives up his masculinity to please his woman.
Yes, they do.
What are you saying?
You know why? Because in that relationship, she may feel better about being in control. And so if that makes her happy, he's willing to do it. I know.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
No.
Listen, I don't know. No man. Listen. So now my toxic masculinity will come out. What kind of man is going to take a back seat to let the woman be the so-called man in a relationship?
He may be okay with it.
Again, he may be, but I don't know how many men, if we're going to say men, and this may be toxic in me, that is okay with a woman being what we're kind of saying, being the man, being the head, being the lead, and him following her. That to me is crazy. Now, listen,
you know what?
Wait, real fast, Doc. Wait. So when somebody breaks in the house, who going downstairs to see what happened? He gonna be like, go ahead, babe, go see what that is.
We both
is that what we're doing?
Yeah,
so you guys got to figure out what you want.
We both go. But I'm going to say this. I don't think when it's happening, they see it as them giving up their masculinity. What they see it as, from what I've been seeing in couples therapy, they see it as being a partner to their woman if they have a woman who likes to be in control. So they kind of just let turn the reins over to her.
That's what I meant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hey, but listen. Listen.
But what happens and what ends up bringing them into therapy
right
sometimes, what ends up bringing them into therapy sometimes is not disrespect, but the way that the woman starts to look at them, because the woman feels like she's always leading.
Because she is. That's what I'm saying. You can't be a man so what does she need you for? Right? If she's doing it all, what does she need you for? You feel this is the problem right now where women are doing so much already by themselves. Right? Right. These men don't want that's crazy. The woman is doing so much stuff. Now, if you letting her lead, she can't respect you. I don't think she can. I don't know how many women can respect a man that she can just walk all over, because what's the point of him? What's his point in her life to be her? I mean, we all are each other's cheerleaders, but if she's leading him, I'm confused. I don't see that as what a man is supposed to do. To me, I don't.
And when you say leading, Daryl, when you say leading, what do you mean by leading? That's I'm asking about the lead.
Wait. Obviously, we do have to have one, because if the scenario that she gave, the woman started to lose respect for him. That's what I heard. If I heard correctly, she started to be like,
that is what happened in the three situations I'm thinking of.
There we go. And everyone I know, when a woman leaves, eventually she's gonna be like, bro, what do I need you for?
They tell them to sit down and I'll handle it.
That's the feminine mask. That's what we're talking about. Where they just do. Like I said, they'll just do it.
But doesn't it depend what the it is, Daryl? Seriously, what is it?
Well, let's try to keep it in perspective. We're talking about the woman where she's becoming the leader, right? She's leading the home. Like I said, the man is sitting there and she's making all the decisions. She's doing all the heavy lifting in the home, right? Okay. And that and he's just sitting there. I'm confused, and I don't know, again, because maybe the old thought that I'm brought up, I don't know what they're doing today. I can't see me sitting there and letting a woman do everything. She's carrying the groceries in by herself, right? I don't understand the things that I would naturally do to help out. I don't get it.
So does this, when we go back to talking about situational and whether or not it is, depends on the couple, and it being subjective. Mm-hmm. Is this more about the discussion about gender roles, or the roles of our relationship, the roles of our household?
Right. And so, but the problem is, no matter what it is, I think, like you said, I think even if you're allowing the woman to lead, I don't know how long that lasts, as far as, because I think we do have a concept, even if we don't think that a man should do certain things, and we may say we don't believe in gender roles, but I think, like I said, when somebody breaks in the house, you're going to be like, hey, babe, check it out. Usually the man is going to go down to check out the stuff. So we say we don't believe in them, or we say they're changing, but then in certain ways, you want them to change. You want a man to pay for dinner on a date. There's certain ways that it benefits you that you want it to be masculine, but then you also want to now challenge different things. So we got to pick where we're at. And again, that's why I think a lot of relationships have problems, because when you get into that relationship and you're always butting heads over whatever, I don't know, whatever the things may be, maybe like the trash. And that's the big one I can know, where she wants it out right now. He doesn't do it right now. She does it. So she did the job that they both felt like he should do, but she did it. You know what I mean? And then now, like you said, she's doing, she's starting to make all decisions in the home, where we're going, what dates look like, when you got to go to doctors, what you should be eating. Like at a certain point, what is he doing but playing PlayStation?
Wow. Well,
Mary.
Oh, I miss Mary. God dang. Hey, fellas, we just learned the cheat code. Look at that, the cheat code.
Yeah, well, that's subjective too. Because a lot of times they think they're doing something and not doing nothing.
That's true.
So that's also subjective.
It is.
You need to ask that specific woman whether or not you smashing well.
Or cooking well.
Right.
Well, again, remember, you women lied to us, so we're going to think it anyway.
I forgot about that.
Oh my God, it's so great. So
we forgot.
It's your fault for souping everybody's head up. All right.
Now, is that being your cheerleader, or are we souping you up? See, we can't win.
You are, because tell me the truth. If I'm giving out bad penis, let me know. I don't want to keep giving it out.
I don't know. Some people like that illusion. They don't want to know that they're giving out bad penis.
I agree, Doc.
So I believe that can be kind of true too, because if there is, with all these homes, if there's not a man in them, it may be difficult for a man to learn how to be a man, right? And if there's if they can't come across any good role models or things of that nature, it definitely is a big part of it.
Yep. And I think sometimes the mothers passing these, as this young man is saying, passing it on to their daughters.
Well, yeah. Well, think about it. If you're in a household, and I'm not saying it's mostly, but the households that are single and the mother's raising the child by herself, then she's kind of doing the best she can. So that's all that person sees.
Exactly.
And so what happens in that relationship is, especially so if you've been together, if you've been alone really for 5 years, you've been doing everything for 5 years, when a man comes in your life, it's hard to acquiesce to now be like, well, I'm giving you the lead. I've been a leader. I've been conditioned to be a leader in my home for 5 years, because this is my home. Now, when I invite someone else in, do I want to now not, let my guard down to let him be a man? Now, I know a lot of women say with their mouth, oh, I'm tired of doing everything. I'm tired of doing it, but you're still doing it, right?
But then, and right, I agree with that. And then they don't let their partner do it.
Yes.
Or they're telling them how to do it. And yes, they're telling them how, and they're not satisfied with the way they do it. So they're taking over when they do it. So yeah, that does happen. That does happen.
Right. And I would think that what we have to do is be honest with ourselves. If you're doing anything for a long period of time, it's very difficult for extinction to take place. It's very difficult to just stop doing what you've been doing forever. Yeah. Just because you have someone else in your life, don't say you're just going to change. That usually doesn't happen, right? So you have to. It has to be constant work to change your way of thought. You have to change your mind, because it's easy to do something for a moment, but when crisis situation happens, like I said, you didn't take the trash out, and I said right now you ain't doing. Oh, I'm gonna do it. Take the trash out. I got kids. So you did it, right? And that's what happened. You're so used to doing it, it's not even a thought to you to do it. I've been doing it for 5 years. It ain't nothing for me to do it again, right? So then you kind of push the man away from his, if we're saying roles, we're using that usually, the role that you think he's supposed to have. Because if you're asking him to do it, then you're saying, I feel like this is what you should do.
Right.
Okay.
If you don't feel
going
like
back to how people are raised, if you're coming from a traditional, and I keep using that, I'm using the word traditional.
Yeah, what's
but
traditional?
If you're coming from a traditional background, if you're a guy and you're dating a woman who's more independent, then it could cause some conflict. I mean, I remember when I was dating, a young man told me, your mother raised you wrong. She raised you to believe that you don't need a man.
Wow.
I was kind of taken aback, but yes, that's how I was raised. You don't need, you don't need, you might want one, and it would be nice to have one in your life, but you don't need them.
And that's a thought process. And again, since women and men are kind of even making money and doing things, and women have their own, they actually feel like the only reason they need a man is really for money. That's the problem too. It's monetization. You have to make more. That you don't respect a man if he makes less than you.
Interactions are transactional.
All transactional. If you don't make more than me, I can't respect you. I might play with you, but I can't keep you, because for them, a man has to do more, right? And that's the problem. And I can't remember. I don't have my stats with me. But I was looking at they said men these days are actually, so 1 out of 2 people are meeting people online right now. And it was 1 out of 5 about 4 years ago, right? So the online dating has really jumped up.
Okay.
And men are getting to the point where they're cool by themselves. I can't remember the number, and I'll have it for you next week. I don't have my book with me. Men are saying, we don't even want to date. We're tired of dating. This dating, first of all, it doesn't provide me anything but a bill, right? The woman's not, I'm really dating like almost another man, like it's another man sitting in front of me. So I don't need that. There's nothing I can't do to myself that they're going to do. So I'm going to just forego that and live my life and just do other things. I can go bowling or play online and everything. So it's very interesting. And even then, men are having trouble meeting people because everybody's meeting people online for the most part. So online, it's a two-dimensional view. You see a picture and maybe some words. So when the girl see a guy who's 5'7", he's already out the list. He's done. He can't get nothing, right? The girl ain't looking at him because he's too short. I want a man that's this and makes this amount of money. So in your profile, if you don't say that, we're not looking at you. We're moving on, right? So because we're taking out the things where our personality may get us. We may be 5'7". I'm not. I'm 6 foot. I don't know about 5, but you may be 5'7", but you may have a big personality, right? So your personality might have won that girl over. We lose that today because you don't get that sometimes online through the little type in the beginning.
Wow.
So men are really actually not even dating. And the stats were crazy when I was looking at something today by Pew that shows that men are really like, we good. It's not, the hassle is not worth it.
Wow.
Yes, that is interesting.
Very.
I just say women are saying the same thing, Daryl.
Yes, because they got that masculine energy. Women are coming into, well, and again, we're not saying all, but a big thing you see today is that women, you got to pay for everything. You got to pick me up. Like we talked last week, there's so many prerequisites just to pick you up for the first date. Like, what? I'm doing all this for what? I'm doing all this to get for your time. Like, we're not sharing time. Like, we're not both having a good time together, but I got to pay for it. And then if you don't like it, you cut me off and I just spend $150 for what? You understand me? So women are saying what? Women have a lot of options. And that's the other thing. Women have a lot of options, but they're only picking the same group of men that are like the top 15% of men, right? Everybody wants these one group of men, over 6 foot, the muscular, having this amount of money. Everybody wants that man. But all y'all don't meet the qualifications for that man. So some of y'all should want something different. It's okay to have a stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. It's okay for you to be
Wow.
Oh, wow. Women are too busy trying to get at each other.
That's happening too.
And, that's the other thing they said too. They said with women and with women and women being together, it's also taking women off the market.
Yep.
So now a lot of women are just messing with each other. Like this, everybody can love everybody means, hey, I don't need you, right? We can go bump on our legs all night long. I don't know how fun that is, but hey. So with that being said, that's another thing that's, with this, that's taking people off the dating pool. The same sex type thing that's going on that is really rampant. That's also decreasing the numbers of, people are doing. So men are just like, hey, we're good.
Wow.
We're good. And they said with porn and the more access to porn and things of that nature, that men don't need you as much because you can get it anywhere you go right now. No matter where you at, like, you know, when she don't, nah, let me turn this on. And you get it done. Get it done. You understand me?
So in what you read, they're saying, what do they really need women for? Like, it's just a headache.
It is.
Is that what they're saying?
Right, because with the toxic femininity, what am I getting? I don't want to argue with you all night, or I don't want to compete with you all night. Like, can you put your dick away? It's only one dick on the table. Please.
But Daryl, there is a way to balance that
Put
femininity.
it away out.
There
If it was
is
a balance, if it was a balance, people wouldn't be complaining.
but they haven't figured out the balance. That's the
They
problem.
haven't
That's the
figured out how to
problem.
do it.
Okay, they need to
They
work
can't.
on. They need to work toward figuring out the balance, because the reality is men will always need women and women will always need men on some level. So let's figure it out.
So tell women that.
I'm telling them, figure it out.
Hey, women, listen up. Pay attention.
No, but
I don't need a
I
man.
believe there is a way to balance it. I
don't
do.
need a man. I don't, I can do it all by myself. First of all, again, we already talked about this. Anybody talking about I'm paying my own bills, are we celebrating that? You're supposed to pay your own bills, right? When you're by yourself. That's not anything to celebrate. I mean, we should be doing it. But what we should do when we get together, learn how to together do things.
Yes.
Right?
And
How does it work together? And sometimes it's okay for someone to take a back seat. And now you're like, you know what? Let me lose some of this masculinity and bring the femininity to the home.
Daryl, does
And
that,
for the man, the same thing.
Mhm.
Let me lose some of this femininity and bring some masculinity to the
Daryl,
home.
is trust a
Again.
big element in that? In learning to pull back and letting your man or whatever do more with those things? Is trust a big element that's been broken these days?
Well, I think that that is something that is real with the trust part. But who hurt you, right? If someone hurt you, why are you bringing it to me if I didn't hurt you yet?
Because
So
she's
again,
still there. You know, she might still be.
If you're not ready for a relationship, go to therapy. Leave me alone. Get a dog. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's okay. You might have been hurt. We all might have been hurt, but we shouldn't jump into relationships while we're still healing, right? Because now, if you're putting on to me because the last dude hurt you, then that's concerning to me because I didn't do it. Or if I'm putting on to you what the last girl did, that's not fair to either one of us. So we need to actually heal before we get into this new relationship. People aren't doing it.
Yeah.
People are not doing it.
No, they're just jumping into a new relationship and they're saying we're good. I'm over him. Even though we broke up last week and we're together for 2 years. I'm over him. You're not. Or he's saying the same thing. I ain't ready for her. I'm good. You're not.
You're not.
So we got to start being honest with ourselves.
Good point. Good point.
That is a good point. But, a lot of times people don't want to take that time. They don't want to be off the market for that long. They feel like they're missing out.
Mhm.
They don't want to be alone.
Mm.
They feel like they're going to be lonely, even though those two things are not the same. Being alone does not mean you'll be lonely, and you move on too quickly.
Right. Because then I think people, it's funny, we say we don't need each other, if that's what people are saying, but then they keep getting in relationships.
That's what I'm saying. People do.
Which one is it? Like we say one things with our mouths, but our actions kind of say you need somebody because this your third king this month. Okay, this your third king this month.
Hey, cutie.
Hey.
Your third king.
Mm-hmm. But back to what Mary has said. That real communication, talking about the expectations. We talk about this all the time.
Yep.
Being able to talk about the expectations of the relationship, of the person, of yourself. But if you don't know what it is, if you don't know what they are yourself, you can't relay that information to the person.
Yep.
Exactly. I was about to say that. How can we talk about healthy relationships when we don't know what healthy looks like?
Yep.
Right? We're saying we think we're in a healthy relationship, but they're all the same. You're arguing with everybody, breaking up. People are saying the same thing to you, and you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Hello?
Because it's everybody
it can't be everybody else.
You. Yes,
it can't be everybody else.
You.
And I know guys are big for this. Cause like, oh, she was crazy.
Right.
Every girl any of my friends broke up with was crazy. Them girls was crazy. It wasn't that you was cheating on her with everybody.
That may have had something to do with it, right? A tad.
I'm not saying always, okay?
A little bit.
You know, I got some great. Well, I think that. Well, listen. I don't know if at a certain point we got to have accountability, right? If he cheated on you 4 times, I'm pretty sure after the first time you accepted the other 3. That's on you, right? You got to have accountability. If someone is doing something over and over to you, you keep accepting it. I can't blame that person anymore. Let's stop it. He did this to me. No, you did this to you. The first time he might have, but after that, if the person keeps showing you the same thing and they're not changing, that's you.
Stay in your lane.
I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Yes.
Okay. Tell us more about that, Daryl. Tell us more.
Well, because like I said, if you start doing something that you like, say, we can go back to the trash. Just because when you start doing it, what happens is you take it away from me. So even if I was going to do it, now I'm like, well, I ain't doing it. She did it. I don't have to do it. So again, you have to be strong enough to say, well, the house gonna smell like the bugs gonna be in our food for real now because the trash has been there for 3 days. But eventually, you have to let them do it.
But Daryl, then doesn't the man also have a responsibility to communicate to her how that made him feel?
What made him feel when she did it?
Yeah, that you made me feel unneeded. You made me feel a certain way. Isn't that also his communication responsibility?
Right. So we're gonna role play this a little bit, right? And you be the man, I'm gonna be the woman. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
This should be good.
I don't know how to be a man, Daryl. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel.
No, I said you're supposed to tell her how you feel.
No, yeah. So you be the man and say what you just said. Go ahead.
What part?
The part about how it made me feel when I took the trash out and I took.
Yes, when you took the trash out and didn't give me a chance to do it, it made me feel like you didn't need me.
Hey, you sound like a bitch right now. You over here bitching over trash?
That's called communication.
Now, wouldn't that be seen as masculine? Too much masculine energy? You calling your man?
Right, but that's what women do. When
not all women. This is what I'm saying.
When men, they're not all, but when men start to talk about feelings, women don't care about our feelings.
Yes, we do.
They don't ask you how you do.
Yes, we do.
So listen, take it down. See your voice went high right now. I don't know what you're used to.
It did go up a few octaves, Neil.
Yeah, see? So I know there's problems there. See how she went over talk me? See how she tried to get loud with me just now? See, that's what I'm talking about. See, the toxic femininity came out. So what I'm saying is that when men try to show emotions sometimes, women will shut that down because they're not used to men having emotion either, right? I know women are saying lies, but it's not true. I've been in relationships. I see my man, women do these things. When you start being soft, sometimes they don't. And again, we're not talking about all. I'm talking about most of y'all. I'm saying the majority. I'm saying with men, because a man is supposed to be man. First thing a woman said, you're supposed to be manly.
Right. Thank you, Mary.
So that's not manly sometimes. They don't understand that we can have emotions as well.
And we have to
that's a big part of us. Yeah, that's a big part of us not showing emotion because if a woman doesn't accept it, you shut down. So if you like, oh, you being soft, nigga, you talking about I just took the trash out. So what?
Communication though from that male, we have to repeat that.
That's the whole point. Women have to also allow us to show our emotions because a lot of the toxic masculinity comes from us feeling like we can't show our emotions, feeling like we can't let it out, right? So we have to be always meet everything like this because if we looked at if anything is feminine, especially today, they'll be like, oh, that's soft. You soft, bro. Yeah. You know, even from your friends.
That's
you can be looked at as soft for showing, yo, man, this girl kind of hurt me. What, nigga? All these bitches out here? You better get on one of these other bitches. You know, that's what's going to happen. Ain't nobody going to be like, oh, man, let me go talk to these feelings. Let's work through this. That usually doesn't happen.
Well, we have to reframe that.
We do. Our thought process has to definitely reframe because a man is supposed to be a man through and through. You're supposed to, go through glass and not get cut. You're supposed to be strong, It's not really great. Hey, man, what you talking about? I definitely seen some toxic women, and I got a toxic radar sometimes. I pick them up.
She said, "Remember, Facebook have cursive rules."
Right.
But I mean, okay, you made a good point.
Mhm.
You made a good point. You know, because you're right. Sometimes if a man starts to show emotion,
Mhm.
the woman might not be able to handle it. You know, because
Right.
I've heard women talk about how they feel if they see their man cry, or you know,
Exactly.
if their man, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not
Then are
total,
you
Wait.
it's not a total lie.
Then are you with
Rihanna said you look ugly when you cry.
Wow. Then the question begets there, are you with the right person? Because you should be able to have emotions, share emotions, communicate, and build from there.
And I should have a unicorn as well.
Well,
You know
you better go get one.
I should have a unicorn as well. If that, again, all those things are true, but the problem is there's not many healthy relationships that people see or that you know of, that you saw. So people are really out here just winging it, doing the best they can, learning
right.
on the job. And that's a big problem. That is really a big problem.
Dating Rihanna.
That's right.
That's true.
But she's sharing the sentiments of some women. She's not alone in her thoughts. I will say that.
But I think that I do think, you know, like you were saying, Neil, that we as women, we do have to create that safe space.
We do.
For them, for, you know, if your man is showing you his emotions, you can't, you know, you can't clown him.
No.
You can't, you know, tell him he's soft, or, you know, that he's being, you know, a bitch.
What Daryl said, right?
Yes.
Right.
You can't do
Right.
that.
No.
Right.
Not if
Right.
you
Right.
want true, honest communication going forward. No, you cannot do that. Because he will not do it again. You are absolutely right, Daryl. That's it.
Right. And you know, of anybody who's showing emotion and you shut them down, they're going to maybe not, because it's not a safe space, right? You remove the safe space.
Yes.
Right. And we need safe spaces in our home, especially if you're in a relationship, to be able to be vulnerable.
Yes.
I need to be able to let my guard down and say, hey, this is bothering me, or I felt like, and it should be like, and again, not that you have to agree. I'm not telling the other person to have to agree to what you say, but be able to hear it. Like, listen, that's not my intention. Oh, I didn't feel I did that. Whatever the case may be, where you can have a conversation about it. Because it doesn't mean you agree just because you're listening, right? You can still feel like, I don't really feel it was that harsh. That's cool. But we should be able to talk about it, at least.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
In a constructive way where your voice doesn't go up. I'm just saying.
That was a first for me. Excuse that.
That was a first for her.
Online, that was a first.
Oh yeah, online that was the first. Touch the nerve, hip dog holler.
I wasn't feeling heard there, Daryl.
Oh. See, listen, this is what happens. When you're not being heard, she wants to get louder. See, this is what women do. They want to overtalk you.
But I brought it down. I brought it right back so I could hear.
Well, but see, that's very important too, because once you say something about it, you should, like, I believe, because things may happen, but you should be able to, hey, well, you're raising your voice right now, and it should be, oh, my fault. Let me come down.
That's
yes,
true.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Because things may
true.
happen. Nothing's going to be perfect. So you should be able to say, hey, and that person should respond in a kind way.
Played that exact scene out.
Right.
At home.
And right.
Yep. And you don't always realize you're getting louder. You know, you're trying to be heard and get in there, and you don't always realize it. So it's good when they say to you, wait, can you bring it down a little bit so we can continue this combo? Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. So, you know, some of the things that they're saying are masculine traits or signs of masculine energy are things that I think that you want to be, or that you would want your woman to be. You want her to be ambitious and driven, I would think. You want her to be assertive,
Confident.
See, I would think that these are some things that you would want in your mate. But
and that's why I said it's situational. No, I think we all possess these things. It's just when it becomes out of whack. If your appetite for moving up in your job starts to now, you neglect whatever home looks like, that would be a problem. And either way, that could be a problem, right? If a man or woman is doing something, and if their ambition is overshadowing everything else, then that could be a problem where I got to do, and so those things. I believe we just have to find a better balance.
Balance is the word.
We just want to have a better balance, and you want to make sure your home is settled. Your home should be your sanctuary. Like, I shouldn't want to go home. I shouldn't want to or be afraid to say something to you because I know how you're going to respond to it. That's crazy. Like, I shouldn't be able to. There's nothing I should say to you where I know, oh, she's gonna get so mad, and you're kind of afraid. That's the problem.
Oh, yep.
Either way, and that's either way. You know, I mean, it's not just one way. That's both ways.
Because as Doc is saying, you don't want to snuff out those qualities necessarily. You know, you want them there.
Right.
You don't want her afraid to show those things either. So you do have to achieve that balance where both people feel needed and heard about it. You know, it makes me think of children when you see young children sometimes and they're sassy and they speak out about what they think. And, you know, I always tell my parents, you don't necessarily want to snuff all of that out. You want to guide it. You want to frame it, you want to balance it, but they may use that later on in life for good. So
Yes.
They could be future leaders of the world, Daryl. So fix those eyes.
So again, it's all at what cost?
It's at the cost of balance. It's not a cost, it's balance.
No, it's a cost. I mean, if you want to be outspoken and speak your mind, at what cost? Because a lot of these independent women speak their mind and they're single. Okay, so at what cost? If you're chasing a career.
Oh no, I hear you on that.
And you're not, at what cost? There's a cost at what you do.
Oh, I hear you on that.
So that's what so it's a cost. So if you have to, what do you want in life, right? If you want to be single forever and get a dog and die alone, by all means, go ahead. Right. But we have to, everything we do at what cost, even both sides. If I'm going to work 90 hours a week, that's going to affect my home life. It has to. Right. So is it working is it for me to work 90 hours a week? Does it make sense?
And it might make sense for now, you know, because you guys might be trying to do something. So it might make sense temporarily, but then doesn't make sense later on down the line.
Right. And again, the situation is, what do you want? Because for me, we can't get that time back. So if you're working so hard right now for us to get somewhere, I hear that. But what happened if you die before we get there and we lost all that time because you were working all the time? Right. So again, it's at what cost? And everybody has their price to pay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Everybody has their price to pay. But sometimes that price comes and you're like, damn, I wish we didn't do that. I wish we'd have spent more time developing our relationship or more time doing things. So the Facebook user, what for you? So when would a man need a woman to be masculine? I'm just asking, what do you think? What situations would call for that? If you could.
A good question. Yeah.
And Doc, that question brings me back to that picture you put up about when the couple was together and the person was pointing the gun at them and the wife or the girlfriend was going behind his back. It makes me think, is that an appropriate opportunity to step up with the masculinity to save your husband or your mate?
I would think so. Because he has to show he has to keep both of his hands on his head.
I thought
yes, I thought so too.
Right. Because if you think about it in that situation, they're going to look at him because he's the threat.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
He's the threat. So for her to, sleep up and bang, 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 that, again, situational, boom, you got it. Because we playing our roles. I'm the target. Hey, look at me. It's allowing her to do that thing that may help.
Okay. I wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
So, but even with that, I don't know if that's not even masculine to me. So you look at it, that's still her being in her feminine trait, following his lead, right? She's not out there. See, masculine for me would be, she was like, hey, you ain't gonna shoot my man. You ain't gonna shoot none of us. Put that gun away. Put it away, bitch. That would be different.
Can't she say that can't she say it while she's reaching for the gun?
Right, yes.
That goes with that. Because I'm like,
well, but then so now you became a threat. Because you're talking masculine.
So would it be masculine if she was pulling her own gun and not his from his back?
Not at all, because again, as long as I think it's about the presentation, right? The reason I'm not looking at her as a threat because I'm like, oh, she's a woman, she's not a threat. Now, he's the threat. The physical violence usually comes from who? Men. We are the ones that are usually physical, if we're the traditional, non-traditional, whatever it is. So I think that in that situation, that's what gets it off. Her moving in silence and violence would work more because you don't expect it. But I would expect it if she was like, what, bro? Put it down. I would expect her now maybe to do something. Keep eye on her. Keep eye on her too.
So if she's cowering and crying,
don't shoot us,
don't shoot us, please, then she could like really sneak it
play
in.
the role. Then she can really play that role.
You understand? Right. Oh my God. Bang.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Facebook user said if he's away from home or he becomes ill.
So I guess my question would be, and I'll start with the becomes ill part. We're talking about him being ill for a long time, where she has to take over. I guess that's what you mean. If he became ill for a while, she had to step up. So I don't know if that's really being masculine. I think that she's, as a partner, stepping up to help out the home. Right? She's doing what she has to do to step. I don't necessarily would think that she's being masculine. She could still be in her feminine energy and still pay the bill. Right? I don't think that. I think the masculine part about it is if you're challenging each other for things, if we're fighting over, I think we would have to say what we feel is feminine, masculine in the home. And if we go back to the trash thing, if you think the man is supposed to take trash out and you as a woman are always taking it out, then I would think that's feminine. Right? I mean, then I think that would be you showing some toxic masculinity. Okay. But if you're just taking over, helping the home out, because that's why we have partners. We're partners. Right? We're partners. So I think that if I go down, that's what you're there for, to help out. Right? If you go down, then guess what? I'm going to be doing laundry. I'm going to be doing other things that we may think that are more feminine. No, I'm taking over to help out you and our family in our time of need. I don't think that means I'm becoming a woman now because I'm doing, or being more feminine now if I'm doing laundry. No, I'm doing what the house needs to get done. I don't think that would, to me, that doesn't mean either one of them are being more like you're being feminine now or you're being masculine. No, you're doing what you have to do to care for your home. In my eyes.
I think that sometimes when this phrase is being used, I think that some men are referring to a woman being argumentative. I don't even know if it has anything to do with the roles that they're playing in the relationship, just that she talked too much.
Good point.
She's always arguing about something. I don't know, maybe verbally abusive at times. I think that that's what they be referring to sometimes.
So I think it's not her arguing, because that's as we call you nag. There's no man to think that a nagging woman is masculine. It's how she's arguing that's the problem, right? If you start to challenge me, if you start to get in my face.
That's what I'm talking about. When I say arguing, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, cool. So arguing doesn't have to mean that, guys. You can argue and it doesn't have to be that. But
exactly. But that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
The
way you're arguing.
Right. So that type of arguing is a problem because, again, men know there's a threat of violence if you get in another man's face. You get in my face, you know that it could come to fisticuffs. Put him up, right? It could go down, right? Women get in your face and they feel like I can do this, but you can't do anything to me, right? I can get in your face, I can call you names, I'm pointing in your head and all this. Like, why do you think you can do that? If a man did that, it's on sight.
Or mugging you in the face.
Right. All the extra stuff that y'all like to do.
Face, man.
Right? So I think that's what men have a problem with. Again, the nagging is different than you actually now becoming it's like I'm dealing with a man at that point. Or even the big thing you see is like when you're out, something happens and you see the woman all in somebody's face while the man is standing there like, listen, what are you doing? Oh man, you hit our car. How dare you hit our fucking car? And it's like, relax, let me handle it. Because we're going to talk about it because the way you're taking it means I'm going to have to do something soon. If some, you know what I mean, you're getting us involved in something because that's not your job to do.
Yeah.
For me, I even teach my daughter, you shouldn't argue with boys. You shouldn't, right? At the end of the day, for most part, men are strong. So you're arguing with somebody who, if they punch in your face, then what you do? What do you do then? So I tell them, don't do it if you can avoid it. It's just not a smart thing to do. And I don't want a woman jumping in a man's face either, because some men don't care. Right?
True.
Some men be like, okay, you want to act like a man? You know what I mean? So
sound effects.
That's a serious issue that people have, but they do it because they're allowed to do it. When women are in your face, a man is really allowing you to do that, right? So you need to stop, because that's what men be like. We don't want to deal with that. I don't want to argue with another man because every time we get in an argument or something, I don't want that.
So it's not the argument; it's the way that the argument goes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And the tone, right? And the tone. Yes.
Like when people raise their voice, that's the start of it.
I'm clear on that one. I'm clear.
Right?
Is this a good volume? Is this a good volume, Daryl, right now? Okay.
That's a good volume.
Okay.
I'm saying, so because my thing is that, where's that go? You yell at me, where's it go? Right? Because and I start yelling at you, where's it go?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me because it can go nowhere. It shouldn't go anywhere. So we need to learn how to actually talk to each other, especially in arguments.
Yes.
When we're having disagreements, how do we speak to each other?
That's what Daryl gonna get if he yell this way, a knuckle sandwich.
See, there we go. You hear that toxic femininity? You guys see it? It's live. See, here it comes. See, this is the younger crowd. See, they come in with the violence. You see the violence? Right on time.
A knuckle, a purse, a glass. Play with me if you want to.
There, listen, you hear what she said? Play with her if she wants to.
Erica, he said I was yelling at him.
See, fellas, now they're teaming up. Look at that. They're teaming up like Voltron.
Yeah, because I can't fight, Daryl. I cannot. We're going to keep that clear. I need backup.
Hey, fellas, pay attention.
Thank you,
pay attention.
I love
Pay attention. Toxic femininity on display, guys. Pay attention. It's alive and well.
Yes. That's right.
And I think I was watching something where it was I guess husband and wife. It was like one of them Real Wives or whatever shows, but they were having dinner. They got into it. The man walked away, and the woman threw a drink at him. So he came back and threw a drink in her face.
Oh wow!
But it's so quickly. So as soon as he threw the drink in her face, she became feminine again. I can't believe he did that. I don't know who he is. You threw the drink first. How do we play victim now? Very interesting. And that's the stuff that happens.
When women do things like that, they don't expect retaliation. You know, I was watching.
There we go.
I'm sure you guys saw the video of Busta Rhymes where the girl grabbed his butt and he
right.
Do something
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't expect it.
Yeah.
So yeah, women don't expect that from men. And if you do retaliate, then you're seen as a bad person, of course.
That's the problem. That's what I said. So now that's what happened. So now you're looked at like, I can't believe you did that. She threw 3 uppercuts and a wheel kick, and I just pushed her away. I can't believe you did it. Wait. Okay. So I gotta get beat up on. But that's what I'm saying. So people don't want to deal with that. And we have to find ways. Like, so for me, I don't think that a woman should exude that type of energy towards a man. Right? I don't care what's going on. You shouldn't take it yelling and cussing. You shouldn't, unless you can fight really well. or you got something on you that can equalize the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually men are stronger for the most part. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful.
Yep.
And like I said, some men just press go on you.
You're right. Absolutely right.
I was looking at something. It was talking about how women can balance or, reduce their masculine energy. And they had several things on the list. And one of the things that they have on the list is surrender.
I saw
Now,
that. I saw one with it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean?
I think that it is something that people don't want to hear. First of all, when you think of surrender, it's like I got to let go of everything that I am just to make him feel good or to make him feel like a man. I think that that's the thought that comes into your mind.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that listed as to a way of balancing, but giving up everything about you, huh?
Did it say give up everything about you?
That's what
That's not
surrender
what it
means. Let's
said.
look up surrender then. Let's look up the word surrender.
Okay. Well, yeah. Actually, let's look it up. What does it
No,
mean?
man. I didn't really mean for you to look it up.
But yeah, what is the definition
What
of
is it?
surrender?
We need to know. Because we hear submissive
Yes.
and then there's surrender. So what are we talking about here?
We would like either one, right, fellas? I'm just saying.
I'm gonna do the head nudge tonight, Doc. Out of here with that. Out of here. I saw that and I was like,
Surrender.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
Why didn't I play that?
Well, are you playing something?
See, I was gonna play it, but it's not playing for some reason.
Okay.
But it's to cease resistance to an enemy or opponent and submit to their authority.
There we
Okay.
go.
So
Here's the
it
submit.
said nothing to give up everything.
Yeah, but it did say submission.
Okay, right. What's wrong with that? Hey, fellas, pay attention. This is the problem right here. This is the problem. Pay attention, fellas.
We
It
need
got
some
scary.
sound effects.
Hey,
Real quiet.
Yes.
when you tell a woman submit, it's like,
Daryl, let me tell you something. When I got married many moons ago, they put obey in the vows, the old-fashioned vows.
Mhm.
And I looked up, all we see is my face on film. Like, we're going to change that word, okay?
there you go. Change
That
that
was
word.
not cool.
We ain't traditional.
Obey?
We ain't trying to be like our grandmoms and stuff. We talk about traditional. We ain't doing that.
Hey, no,
Mm.
but obey, that reminds me of this surrender business. What are we surrendering to?
The authority of a man.
Respect my authority.
Thank you, Facebook user. Facebook user. You're not giving up everything.
Your masculine trait. Oh, I'm willing to give it masculine trait, but
We want
surrender.
you to-
I could go with that. I could go with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of
I
what it
mean,
is.
and a lot of women already do that as we're leading from behind.
Where? If that was the case, we would have this toxic femininity being a thing. Why do women not want to be accountable for the things they do? So that's the problem. Men are starting to hold women accountable. We're starting to speak out and say, listen, we don't like some of the things that you're doing. We don't like having to pay for all these dates. We don't like you guys challenging us. Men are speaking out. We're like, what? We do that? We didn't know we did that. You did. You knew you did it.
I do think it's a skill to be able to do that balance, especially if you are someone who's been on your own for a long time. If you're a woman and you don't get married or start living with someone till you're well into your 30s or 40s, you do have to kind of think about doing things differently and allowing for that balance to take place.
We talked about it already. You condition yourself. All these hot girl summers lead you to terrible relationships, right? You're a terrible person to be with, right? Because you're a hot girl summer. Now you want to put your hot pants away, and now I want to be in a relationship, but your mindset is still hot girl summer. You can't. What are we doing here, right? There has to be a change before you go into a relationship, because you got to change the way you think, right? You've been conditioned to do things a certain way.
That's the reframing of femininity.
Right.
Reframing.
And again, like I said, sometimes it's because if you're chasing your job or whatever the case may be, and you've been alone for a while, you start to do everything by yourself. You don't, at that point, I can do this all myself. You see that I can do it all myself. I didn't know I could do it before, but I'm paying all the bills. I'm taking all the trash out. I'm making all the food. I'm doing I don't know what I need somebody for, right? What I need you for. So that also, I think, helps in the way if we're thinking that everything's about money or financial gain versus monetary, then now, like I said, it makes it tough for somebody to respect you if we're making the same amount of money. If we're making the same, I can same amount of money as you. You ain't nobody. I can buy it myself. It's the first thing women say. I can buy it myself. I don't need you to buy it. I got all these shoes in this room because I can buy it myself.
No, I need you to buy my shoes.
That's
There you
right.
go, Ruth. Look at that. There you go.
I'll be feminine, buy my shoes.
But I'm gonna take this trash out.
But you better get that trash. It is a reframing. It is a reframing. And it is, I think, not feeling like you're giving up everything. I think we have to make sure that both people feel balanced in what they have to give up or retweak or however you want to look at it. But one person can't be doing all the surrendering. Sorry.
Here we go again.
No, that's fair, Daryl.
There we go again.
You're two people in the relationship.
What she just did was what they typically do. They throw it back to you. We're talking about women and what they should be doing, but she immediately goes back.
Together.
We immediately, it doesn't go together.
Yes, it does.
Immediately goes back. Well, men need to do this too, huh? Hey, don't tell us what we need to do.
Well, because you have some of those men that are sitting on their butts, letting her be the masculine one. What about those guys? Let's talk about them.
Well, we talked about them, and I don't know. If they're cool with it, that's fine, right? If that's the relationship and they're sitting back and they're letting the woman do everything, that's fine. I mean, how people run their castles are very different. You know, some people need maybe. I even know some women who will acquiesce and let the man do things like, how do you use this remote control? I don't know how to turn the TV on. But you watch it all day when he's not home. It's weird, right?
But isn't that what you just said? Make him feel needed? Here, honey, help me with this.
But see, it's different for different people. Because for me, I'd be like, well, I guess you ain't watching TV. You ain't asking me no dumb question.
Wow.
I'm not doing it.
Wow.
First, I know you know how to do it.
Wow.
You have education.
What if
you
she
can
really
read.
doesn't, Daryl?
No, again, I'm saying if you showed her how to do it, or if you show somebody how to do something a couple times, you don't have to do that for me. I'm not that weak of a man where you have to make me feel better by doing these remedial things. Like, oh my God, how do I turn the stove on? What? Shut up. Get away from me. Kill yourself. So what I'm saying is that I think that we need to, and it depends what people need, right? And that's what it really is basic. Your relationship is if you're happy with your relationship, it's fine. But when these things start to become a problem,
yes,
that's when it needs to be an adjustment, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about when these things become a problem. When the man sitting on the couch is a problem when you're doing everything around him, he's not doing that.
Yes.
That's when you need to talk about it. Or, or the man feel like he has no space in the relationship for whatever. That's when you need to talk about it.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yes. He becomes more responsible for more than just himself.
Say it again, Doc, you kind of went in and out.
No, I was just reading what the Facebook user posted. He becomes responsible for more than just himself.
What are they referring to? A man in a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Or
maybe a family? Maybe the family?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know where that's coming from, but I think you both become more responsible for each other, right? Because you both should be looking out for each other. It shouldn't be a thing where he's only looking out for her, right? Because that's the problem. I think that's the problem. If it's I'm only looking out for her, I'm only protecting her, no, it has to be reciprocal. She should be looking out for him in his best interest as well.
I agree with that.
We can't have it. We can't have, again, it's feminine and masculinity. It's both. We need both. You can't have one without the other, right? So you need both. So I feel, we both, and again, this could change. Some people may not feel that way. Things may be different they're very subjective. But for me, I feel like we both should be looking out for each other.
I totally agree with that. The partnership that Doc talked about.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Men have a selfish trait. Yeah.
Men have a selfish trait? Tell me more.
Anyone can be selfish in their relationship.
Doc kind of went out again.
Yeah,
and I didn't hear you.
What is going on with my volume? I said I believe that anyone can be selfish in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Man or
So
woman.
right. I wonder what does a selfish trait of a man look like? What do you have to give up? What does he have to give up? Yeah. What is a selfish trait? I don't know where you're coming from with that. I'm not really sure I can speak to it. A selfish trait.
So are we saying that when you're able to create that balance, there are times when you're showing masculine traits, there are times when you're more feminine, there's times when your partner is showing masculine traits, there are times when they're showing more of the feminine traits? So we're going back, everybody's going kind of back and forth.
I don't know.
I think
don't know
maybe
what that
yes,
means.
to achieve that balance. Maybe yes. Because it's going to switch again situationally. Right? What the need is what I'm saying. Mr. Darrell.
I'm lost. The need, what's going to shift? The masculinity is going to shift?
Yes, what Doc was explaining, the masculinity versus the femininity, it's going to move. It's going to go back and forth with both people based on the need, right? Based on the situation. There may be times where the man has more femininity. I don't.
So again, I don't know what that means. Like that.
Yeah.
So some people may think, like I said, if the man did laundry, is that a feminine trait? I don't necessarily agree that would be a feminine trait.
Not at all.
So what is going back and forth then? Where's the masculinity and femininity going back and forth?
I'm thinking about the traits that are typically assigned to women, such as like being nurturing, or being kind, or being tender,
so men can't be nurturing, kind, or that doesn't.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they do as well. I'm saying that men do as men can as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about earlier. When we're not allowed to do that, that's when we really become toxic. When we're not allowed to express those things, where we can care for the kid and change their diet. No, that's a woman's job. When we start doing that, we start making it you very one-dimensional, right? You marry very one-dimensional, and that's how you start becoming toxic, because now everything you do has to be overly manly. Like you can't have, and you can't. You over your phone clothes. That's a woman's job. It's soft. What?
Right.
Kind of, because remember the same thing. The same way that single woman, for the most part, a man had to do the same things too. You had to fold your old clothes up. You had to take the trash. And all these things we did by ourselves at one point. Right.
Yeah. Because if you've ever lived alone, but I mean, I know you have some men who've never, they've gone from woman to woman to woman to woman. They've never lived alone.
Yeah,
a few from mom to a girlfriend to a girlfriend to a girlfriend, and they never.
They've never done their own things.
Well, yeah. So, and that could be a problem too. We have when you're going, you're couch hopping, or you're living at home and you're adding to your 40. Those definitely could be problems.
But if a man has ever lived alone, he's learned those things. He's done his laundry, he's cooked for himself, he's cleaned his home, hopefully.
You would hope, right?
Or usually my other girl would clean it.
You know what?
Before you came over. Hey, whatever gets it done.
See? Remember, Charles, side Johns don't clean and they don't cook. Remember that combo. Remember?
Right.
Hey, listen.
No, they don't.
About size. Listen, fellas, get women to do certain things that you need to be done. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. My goodness.
Toxic.
Here we go.
Very toxic.
These are toxic men traits.
He's just exampling them for you. It's not him.
So Facebook user said that women are taught to take care of the home and all that is in it.
Yes.
And I'm wondering how true that still is, because I'm hearing lots of complaints from young men about women that don't cook. They
True.
don't clean.
Yes. Yes, Doc.
They don't, not only do they not do it, they don't know how to do it.
Or care to do it.
Right. Don't want to do it.
Not going to do it. So what about that? That's a good point.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know how true that still is.
I think
You know?
that's becoming a thing of the past too. That's one of those traditional looks again, I think. Where we
Yes.
assume that, but that's not necessarily the way it is modern day.
Right. Because some
What
of
would you
those
say to that, Daryl? Couldn't hear.
can't hear you.
You're out. Your mic's out.
Is it back on?
We can't hear you.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yes, you're back. So are you coming across women that don't cook, clean, the things that they may have been taught?
No, like I said, I think that women don't mind cooking and cleaning, but it's always more of that interaction where the arguments or things of that nature are when you're out and the woman is taking the lead. Those type of things I see more are the issues that you have. Like you're out eating, and she orders, hey, ain't you supposed to be eating greens? Hey, give me some greens. I can order my own food. I can definitely order my own food. And that type of stuff I see being more of the issue, when the woman is, or something happens out and she jumps in the man's face before you do. That type of stuff to me is where I see the issues becoming. Because you're like, bro, like, you're not letting me do what I do. I may not handle it the way you handle it.
I think one of the issues is you calling her bro.
Well, we're gonna call her bro if she's acting like a bro. If I have to say bro, get out the nigga face, then you're a bro.
Bro
You
or
didn't pull the penis
dog. Yo, dog. That's how you address your girl? Your dog.
Hey, sometimes, listen, if she's acting in such a way that she's acting like your boy, then that's what it is.
Wow.
Wow is right.
So does this I mean, I don't think this keeps women from being in relationships at all. I mean,
no, it's a billion dysfunctional relationships around the world.
yes. Yes. But is there a situation where it can actually work?
A lot of these dysfunctional, what we call dysfunctional relationships are working. They're still together. So I guess what does working mean? If you're together for 20 years, people say that worked.
Yeah,
Even though you're fighting and fussing and arguing and that no one's really happy. So what does working mean?
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean? We have to define what working means. Some people will be like, well, we've been together 10 years.
Right. Dysfunctional, all of them, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it could mean, like you said, the definition could mean that we just function. We just function.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because a lot of these relationships are cool until the kids leave too.
That's a good point made. Mm-hmm.
Right. A lot of people, a lot of these relationships, the dysfunction is okay because we got a distraction. But
you are so right.
Leave, and now we really got to deal with each other. I don't like you.
That is a good point made.
Right. I really don't like you nor know you because we had this buffer for the kids and the things they had going on, baseball and track and school, and now we're here together. I don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
So
we
I mean, what is it?
So we were just dealing until that point, right? For the kids,
right.
so to speak.
We had a common goal, get the kids out of the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I'm 63 and I want a divorce. To do what?
To live my life.
Yes.
Okay.
Live the rest of my life.
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna have a hot old girl
right.
summer.
But you know what? We laugh
Sound
about
like, sound like a
it.
UTI to come.
It may be worth it to some folks that, hey, I've lived, 20, 30 of it miserable. I may only have a good 10 left, but I'm going to go and live it up. Seriously.
Mm.
When those kids are out, that house is done, paid. Let's start splitting those assets. Let's go.
Really? That's how.
I know folks that are doing it right now as we speak.
Yeah, how's it working for them?
Well, they're in the process, and it's cool.
So
I don't ask
that may
too
be
much about it. It might rub off. I don't ask.
listen. That might be cool for a month or two. I don't know where the hot 63 and singles clubs are at, but after a while,
Me and Doc going to find them. We're going to tell you.
That's right.
After a while, we talked about kind of being conditioned, and you've been in a relationship for so long, and now he's going to be out in these streets. I mean, like I said, that's a UTI waiting to happen because you're doing everything wrong. You're used to this. Okay?
It's like riding a bike.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
It's-
But I mean,
Okay.
that's for some, Daryl, like you were saying, after they've done it the other way and it wasn't good. Yeah.
So that makes it tough. Because now
Yep.
you're out here doing what? You put yourself out in the streets in a game that you're not ready for.
Yep.
To do what? What does
That's
that come
true.
with?
That's
Like I
true.
said, that doesn't. I don't know if that's going to fulfill them. Like I said, for a little bit, it might feel cool, but
Yeah.
I don't know how well that works.
But for some, maybe they're just going to be by themselves and just, reframe their own existence.
Cool. And I mean, some people want to be alone. I
They
don't know
do.
who does that. I don't know who does that. People say they want to be alone, but it's cold and lonely at night. So I don't know if that's really the goal for some people. You may say it, but I think for the most part, I think we are social creatures. I think we would like to be in a situation that's good and healthy, right? If we could.
I think you're right. Most folks.
Yeah.
Most folks.
Right? We would want
Yep.
to. So I don't, we can't speak to that, but I guess people out here, turning up at 70.
They are.
I don't. I don't want to turn up at 70 by myself, starting over. Hold on.
I know.
Hey, how do you use this? What's this? The application? The application? What is this? I got a swipe. What I'm doing?
Swipe.
Somebody said hi. What I do? Like, I'm not trying.
No, it's
to
not the
start
best
that.
alternative. It's not the best
Right.
alternative. We'll say that.
Right. But again,
But,
like I said, if you're in something that's terrible and you can't fix it, but please try to fix it. Go to
I
therapy.
agree. Try your best to fix it.
Yeah.
Are you
So I don't
saying that because you don't want to be out in the streets with them, Daryl? You talking about
I
please
don't-
try to fix
yeah,
it.
I don't-
So,
I don't know
so you
if
don't
it
have to see them in the club.
Yeah, I don't know if no 70-year-old cat told me, "Look at here, young whippersnapper."
They love the whippersnappers. Yes.
What? I'm cool. I don't know where's the market for 70-year-olds. Like, where are we looking for the 70-year-olds? Like, yo,
Don't
these
say it was 70.
70-year-olds.
We said 60.
crazy.
Now we talking 70.
Right, 70, like, golly.
You done jumped it all the way.
I moved it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's
I
a
moved it
lot.
up a little bit.
That's a whole lot.
I moved it up a little bit. I'm saying I don't know because people are, getting out of relationships because again, people think there's more out there. You really believe
Yes.
you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
I can do
Yes.
better. I don't care. I'm 93. There's somebody out there for me.
That's 93.
Ooh.
I mean, there might be some 100-year-old man out there looking.
There could be.
Okay.
Could be.
I
And maybe at that point,
what are y'all
she's
gonna talk
ready to
about?
surrender.
What are you going?
When you're 93, you ready to surrender,
Not to a man. It's something else you
Ready
can surrender
to
to.
submit.
It's not
I'm ready to submit.
It may work for all involved at that
to
point.
the upper room. All you're talking about that is upper room. That's what you're talking about at that age. I don't know what you're ready for at 93.
Ooh, I don't know. I'm not there yet, thank God. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what works at 93. I'm not sure everything working the way. I don't know if your hips even. I don't know if your hips can work at that age. Can your legs?
Why your hip got me
Open
messed
up.
up,
right,
Daryl?
what a hip.
Why the hip got me
Hey,
messed up?
because the hip is you didn't use it for 90 years every day. Everything you do is with the hip. So that's one of the first things that go, hip and knees. So I don't know how much flexibility they're going to have. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's a lot. I don't know.
It's a lot.
It seems like never mind. I'm going to go to sleep instead. I don't even know what
So
I'm
submit, right? Just
just
go ahead and submit.
right. But that's no, I mean, it has to be someone has to somewhat. And again, like I said, I think they hear something different when you hear those words.
Yeah.
Like you're giving up everything. I got to give up my freedom. Like you become a slave. I got to give up my freedom for him.
Mm-hmm. No, people
And
really do take
that's not
those are
it.
strong words. They're strong words.
But I will say too, that some men don't understand the concept of submitting either, and they think the concept means the woman got to give up everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Some men
yes.
act that way and
That's true.
will actually make it be the way, like the woman is a object or a slave, or she can't do
That's
anything.
true.
And submitting means you have to give all autonomy to me. Everything you do is through me. Some people do act that way, which also messes things up, like you said. And the woman's
Right.
like, I'm not getting to that again because submitting means this and he did it right. So men also have issues as well as what
True.
those words mean and what it looks like.
So true.
Right. So we're talking about definitely talking about a discussion
Yes.
about what that looks like in our relationship.
Right. And that's what we need to do early. We keep saying this, almost every show comes back to
Yeah, every
when you're
show we
first-
talk about it, but it's
right.
true.
When you meet
Yeah.
that person,
It's true.
when you meet that person in the beginning where there's no skin in the game, start talking about some of these things. What does it
True.
look like?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What does it look like? Like if I wore this, what I have on tonight, when we're in a relationship, would you be okay with it? Right? Because in the beginning everything's cool, but now like, girl, don't wear that no more. Do you worry about how I dress, or if I go, or curfews? You know, as a grown man, do I have to be in at 12 o'clock? Because you want me being at 12 o'clock as a grown man.
No, you can be in at 1.
Okay. 1 in the afternoon. I'll make sure I come in 1 in the afternoon just because. But really, those things are really important to talk about.
Totally agree.
For sure. So I just saw something that says, what are the signs of blocked feminine energy in women? And it's so funny. This is some of the stuff they came up with. Lack of creativity.
Oh my.
Difficulty with self-expression, lack of intuition, lack of empathy, feeling stuck, discomfort with receiving, and then the last two were what was it? Difficulty setting boundaries and feeling disconnected from your body.
Oh my.
I thought
What do
that
they
was
mean
interesting.
disconnected from the body? What do they mean? Do you know what they mean by disconnected from the body?
I don't know what they mean by that. I'm thinking, I mean, when I hear that, I'm thinking of when you feel like out of place. Like, yeah, when you feel out of place and you're not, I'm trying to think of a good way to say that.
Not
I
comfortable.
don't know. Let me
In your
let me
skin,
just go-
maybe? Like,
yeah, like not feeling good in your skin.
you don't really know what works for you, maybe. I don't know, but it's with the body connection.
So let me what they're saying is you find it difficult to accept your physical appearance. So they're like really
There you go.
literal. They're really literal with it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
In your skin. In your skin.
In your skin. Yes.
And this is all for blocked feminine energy.
Yeah. So this is what it's supposed to look like when your feminine energy is blocked. So if your feminine energy is blocked, then you would be less creative and all these things. So does that I'm just trying to just talk this through. So would that mean that the masculine energy is taking over these areas?
I would think that's what it means.
Which I mean, when I'm looking at these though, it makes me, a little sad that,
it is a little dismal.
Right. She needed to talk to somebody, poor baby.
And that they are interpreting the masculine energy as difficulty with self-expression, no intuition, no empathy, feeling stuck, having an inability to receive. Like, I don't want no man like that.
Neither do I. Yeah.
But I don't. But I don't think anybody would want anyone like that, right? Because that's
Right.
just a closed off person.
That's the point I'm making. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
You would think.
That goes both ways, right? That would be
Yes.
anybody who had, these things would be could be definitely a problem any type of relationship.
But is it? I mean, is that true that most people wouldn't? I agree, but aren't there some people that maybe if they hook up with a person like that, they could like control them or?
I mean, Ruth, there's always something.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking there are a few people that would be okay with that. Mm-hmm.
Right. And,
but the majority wouldn't.
We're not talking. We don't want to talk about the super duper, outliers. We want to try to talk about most people.
The majority.
If one person is closed off or not insecure in themselves or not, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be a real issue in your relationship.
Mm-hmm. It should be.
You know what I mean? Because that probably can lead to other things. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, then you definitely think that person may like somebody else in their skin.
Yes.
Who you looking at?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at that person? I'm not.
Yes.
Because they're so worried about themselves.
Very
so
true.
those problems will promote other problems, will lead to other things. You know what I mean? And that's the issue. If you're not expressing yourself, I don't know something's wrong. Now you're mad all the time because there's something wrong, but I don't know something wrong.
Right.
And now we got the peanut butter jar. You left the top off. We're arguing about it.
Back to the peanut butter. Yep.
We're back to the peanut butter.
Yeah.
Because again, these things can spawn other things. Because this is masked. This is masked. We don't know the real problem. We just see the secondary things that are popping out, and we're dealing with the secondary, never dealing with the primary, so the issue never can be resolved, right? We can never resolve the issue at that point.
Yes.
So we're dealing with all secondary things.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that, everyone needs empathy. Everyone needs to be empathetic or know how to be empathetic. Everyone needs to be able to express themselves.
Right.
I think that, these are things that you want to see in people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But especially a mate.
Yeah.
Especially in werewolf.
A mate. Especially in your mate, you would hope.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So stop watching these crazy shows, the Kardashians and the Housewives, because it's leading to very toxic relationships on both sides.
I agree.
Yes. Everyone could use a good therapist. Yes. Nothing wrong with going to therapy. It can help you gain some insight. It can help you gain skills and knowledge about yourself, the world, others, how to interact. So yes.
So much.
And sometimes, a lot of people walking around not even knowing that there's an issue. Right? They don't even know that things are affecting them the way they're affecting them, or how they grew up affecting them. They feel like, I'm past that. I'm wealthy, and I'm in great success in my job. I'm good. I got a big house, but you still could be carrying around some of the stuff that you need to let go, that you don't even know that you need to unpack.
And so most folks are.
I believe the therapy would help everyone out. It doesn't hurt. I don't think it could hurt.
Nope. And it takes off that role from your mate if that's what's going on. And the mate has to be the one that's always in that role, if you will, that blocks the intimacy. It takes it off of them.
Right, because sometimes they may not be qualified to deal with it.
Oh, they're not qualified. Exactly.
You know what I mean? They may not have the answers, right? You're coming to your mate, but he or she may not have the answers to what's going on.
And they may not want that role. It imbalances it. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a listening ear, but they may not be able to help actually, do anything. So in that case, everyone just say, you know what? Let's try therapy.
I'm with you. Yes.
Let's try therapy. And I usually like to say, let us try therapy, because you're like, girl, you need therapy. That doesn't really go over well.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Even if she's the one that needs it, it just doesn't go over well.
It's all about the way you say it, the way.
Yeah. So try to, sometimes you got to, make things
because that comes off as, I don't have a problem.
You do. Yes.
Right. And it could be the case because you're the one complaining about whatever. But I just say, we're going to say, let us.
Couples.
Go to therapy.
Couple.
And you know what? Maybe you should do something by yourself, and I'll do something by myself. And you just never go by yourself. Let them go.
Woo, he's got it all worked out.
Okay.
Oh, man.
That's an interesting point. Facebook user. Women trying to be therapists
Absolutely.
in relationships.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. That's when we're not being honest about.
They don't need that role.
Right. We think we know everything, so we got the answer, and we're going to help you out.
Yep.
With no acronyms. We have no acronyms after our name, but we're going to tell you what to do. And like you said, it's going to be, and us telling you what to do is based out of what we want from you.
Control factor. Mm-hmm.
Right? You got skin in the game. It doesn't make sense sometimes when you get advice when the advice is going to benefit you. Hey, you know what I think you should do? Not go to work no more. Stay home with me all day, because that will solve your problem.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
And I've seen where people try to convince the therapist
to be on their side.
to be on their side.
Yeah.
Ain't she wrong? Ain't she wrong, Doc, right? Doc, what she said was totally wrong, right?
I've seen it too. Yep.
Didn't you say that she should stay home and be with me all day? Like, no,
right. You said she shouldn't be wearing anything I don't deem okay.
Doc, can I talk to you by myself? I need to tell you something.
Right. Can she leave the room?
No, you cannot. Yes.
Triangulating. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I've seen it.
Yes. That control factor.
Yes.
That control factor.
It's tough.
So guys, what are wrapping up? What are some suggestions, tips would you share for someone who is exerting this masculine energy? Or is it even an issue? Should she just exert on?
Well, like Daryl said before, if it works in that relationship, if he doesn't have a problem with it, maybe she should.
We know how that ends up. She always has a problem with it.
In the event that she has a problem with it, then no. Then it has to be worked out. We have to find balance. We have to get help with it. Yep. Because again, some of us just don't know or haven't known those roles because we didn't have them modeled. We may have had some things put onto us from our parents with what they did. And so now we're putting those fears and those, inappropriate actions onto our mates. So yeah, we really do need to figure it out and balance it.
Yep, I agree. And I think, taking a look at yourself and figuring out what it is, where is it coming from? Or having someone help guide you through that. Like, where is that coming from? Because a lot of times from what I've seen is that it comes from wanting to be in control. And a lot of control issues come from anxiety. So, yes, you're trying to manage your anxiety by having control of everything around you. So if you are able to, learn how to deal with your anxiety or even heal from your anxiety, you don't need that control. You can let go. You can be vulnerable. You don't have to, be the one who guides everything in your relationship. You can kind of let, depend on or be a partner and let your partner take the lead on a lot of things if you're not anxious all the time.
Good point.
I would say feminine or masculine energy in itself is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with having them. We have them. That's a part of who we are. But again, it's when that balance it becomes a problem. It becomes imbalanced. If anybody's presenting more than the other that's affecting the relationship, that becomes a problem. And I think that, again, if we could just talk about it, when someone does something to offend you, find a way to talk about it, early and often. Say, hey, look, I don't like when you X, Y, and Z, right? If you do that early enough, I think it can help balance things out. It's when we allow things to go because, that's little. That's a little thing. That's a little thing. Those little things add up and become big problem, right? Because you can condition certain ways. So just try to deal with things early and often, and I think it will help the relationship for the culture of the relationship to be more healthy.
All right. So thank you for joining us tonight in this spirited discussion. And you can check it out on the replay in the group Relationship Flow. You can check the replay out on YouTube, Butterfly Love, Dr. Carissa YouTube page. You can also send us messages. We can continue the conversation in the Relationship Flow group. If you have a topic you want us to cover, please let us know. And if you want to be on the panel, let us know. We would love to have you. So we will see you next week. And thanks for joining us, guys. Wait a minute. I just want to get this last comment. Someone has commented. Oh, okay. Thank you, Facebook user.
Thank you, too. Have a good night as well.
Good evening.
Yes, have a good night.